back, everybody. Guess what? I'm home again. I just left the house. I'm on my way to make my delivery in Carson, California now. Down in the Long Beach area. Be about a 93 or so. I think it was 93 or 94 or whatever it is mile route from here. Make sure I can see around this. Gotta make sure I can clear this drop trailer over here too. We're good to go. Don't need to go faster than I can look in both directions. Make sure my mirror and header board on this side don't hit the Swift truck over there. I don't want to pull a Swift. And also make sure my trailer doesn't pull a Swift and hit the drop trailer over there. To not be careless when you're in a truck. You will have a mishap sooner or later if you are even remotely careless.
You have 5 hours and 4 minutes.
We got a message, a fleet message in saying, basically reminding people when you're in California, I guess we're starting to get an influx of lane violation citations here. Some I just posted recently in Bonehead Truckers Facebook group. He also got posted to Bonehead Truckers his compilation yesterday, Thursday. I will have it up on, I think, on my own channel when I have, as I plan to get about 10 videos or so, and then I'll post compilations of, kind of, the interesting things I've seen and stupid people kind of stuff. I do those kind of compilations after every 10 or so videos. Sounds good. But that will be posted on my own channel as well soon. And or you can alternatively find it on my Deadhead to Grimway Farms in Lamont, California video, which was just recently posted about a week ago, perhaps. That's the long version that includes the interior cam view going completely through the grapevine. You can see from start to finish how that all transpired. Because I have had people on the shortened versions of that video on the Bonehead Truckers Facebook group, as well as Bonehead Truckers' own YouTube video that features that clip. It gives the illusion that I'm camping out in the number 3 of 4 lanes when I'm not. I was actually passing a couple of other trucks, and I actually sped up to get around them more quickly so I could get out of Swift and anybody else's way. But then after I got past the other 2 trucks, there was a group of trucks further up ahead in both the number 3 and 4 lanes that were going a lot slower. And I ended up slowing down from 60 to about 45 to deal with them. And I stayed in the lane. And figured out once whatever this is over here clears up, I'll move and I get past whatever traffic there is over there, I'll move back over like I usually am. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in that group there, and an owner-operator first goes by me, and they go by me right at the same moment you can see a CHP officer parked on the right shoulder. Like, oop, they got caught. I knew he was going to go after somebody, and then after the owner-op goes by, I realized there was the Swift driver who I saw get on the freeway. Where did I see him get on that? I forget. I saw him earlier, and he was going mostly similar speed to me most of the way through there, but I guess he got a little impatient and decided to try to go around me using the number 2 lane, which is illegal for trucks to be in over there. And next thing you know, right after he's passing me up, you can see in my rear camera view the CHP officer that was on the right shoulder is now coming by me on the side. Lights his traffic stop lights on, his red and blue lights, and turns his siren on briefly to get Swift's attention, and then eventually ends up pulling Swift over for lane violation. And I, I ended up slowing down, and I get past whatever traffic there is over there. Like, oop, they got caught. I knew he was going to go after somebody, and then after the owner-op goes by, I realized there was the Swift driver who I saw get on the freeway. Okay, so this is a message that just came in. It was basically pertaining to that. Now, a lot of people don't know what exactly the lane rules are in California. Alright, so I'll give you that heads up there. If there are 3 lanes in each direction, like you're going to see when I get on the freeway here, you are required by law to stay in the rightmost lane at all times, unless you are passing another truck or you know, other traffic. That's if you're in a truck. If there are 4 or more lanes in each direction, you can only use the 2 rightmost lanes unless there are signs telling you that a certain lane further to the left is permissible to be in. And usually if there's a 3rd or more lane over from the right shoulder that you're allowed to be in, it's probably because there's a split coming up. Yeah, example would be 405 freeway. That's actually that same video I did, Grimway Farms. I think at the 405 and could have been the 101 split, I think. To stay on the 405, you got to stay left, and there's a good 6 or 7 lanes over there, so or something along that line. And you stay right to get on 101, or you stay left to get on 405. So you have to be further over to the left to be able to stay on 405. So those are one of the exceptions there, and they have signs that will actually tell you truck's okay over the lane that you're okay to be in. But generally, if you see trucks okay, you're not normally allowed to be to the left, to any lanes that are to the left of that sign. So all that helps some of you guys out with that. I'm not gonna lie, I do take some risks myself, calculated risks, if you will, like when I'm coming up the Cajon Pass with an empty to come back to the house. Have I been known to use the 3rd lane over? Yes. But I'll only do it if I know that I can get back over very quickly. And I'm also, now I shouldn't be condoning this, but sorry, it's a bullshit law. And when you have, when I can do my full speed going up that pass with an empty trailer, and I have a bunch of 35-mile-an-hour trucks to deal with, why shouldn't I be able to go around them very quickly? By using one of the other lanes. If I can do it without disrupting anybody who might already be in that lane, it should be fair game. And that's part of the problem with split speed limits also, is that contributes to more problems. Specialized transportation on a CRST. Okay, before I left the house, I looked at the traffic conditions. It looked like it was pretty good. It looked like the only place I was really going to expect it to kind of slow down, at least if it stays like that, would be on the 605 freeway at the 5. Where else? Same place I had delays last time I went through there last week. Set my map up here so I can. Yeah, it looks green everywhere. So yeah, it's green everywhere up until I get to the right in that area where 605 and 5 meet up. I mean, that'd be one reason to consider possibly taking 57 down to 91 instead. But see, I can move, I'm supposed to stay right, but this going on here, I'm going to make sure that car can deal with moving over. And this stupid VW here, you see what kind of stupidity they're up to. Not a good idea, just be patient. Why did I not know that Ruan uses expediter vents? Now he's going to be a douche and not let me back over. So now I can get an impeding traffic ticket because I moved over for him. And now now he's not letting me back over. Because he's a dipshit. Doesn't have any courtesy. Once he gets my... yeah, the Mustang back there moved over because he sees me wanting to come over. I don't care if you're in a truck or a car, don't do that shit. If the truck moves over to accommodate you, let them back over first before you go speeding up. Let them get completely around you, let them get moved back over where they belong, and then you go pass them on the left like you're supposed to. But I don't want to get slowed down either, but when you're already down at lower speed like that and trying to get up to speed, at least have some freaking courtesy. And let me get completely around you and back over first before you get completely up. That's what I do. If I have another truck trying to pass me, even if it's one that I know I'm going to outrun once I'm up to full speed, so what? I'll stay off my throttle long enough to let them get the rest of the way by me, and then I'll go ahead and make my pass after they're back over. So it's professional courtesy, people, and common courtesy. Alright, so I got about just under 5 hours left to drive with today. I did an 8-2 split. I did not have enough time to do a full 10-hour break once I left Williams. So what I did is I came over here, did a 8-hour sleeper berth. Even though the sleeper berth was at my house. Hey, I was still sleeping, so I don't see what the big deal is. And if that's what I have to do to make my clock legal, because this stupid sleeper berth rule that doesn't count unless I'm in sleeper berth. So I had to get 8 hours of sleeper berth. Doesn't say that my sleeper berth can't be at home. Now technically I was supposed to be off duty for that, but I say because of technicalities where HOS rules do not consider things like this, I have to do what I have to do. So anyway, yeah, I got a full 8 hours of sleep opportunity at home, actually almost 9 hours before I got rolling. But if I take that extra hour and get a fresh whole 10-hour break, then what happens is I risk being late to the receiver, and I don't do late arrivals. It's going to take me a good couple hours to get there. It's going to be after 1 o'clock. Yeah, after 1 o'clock, maybe at 1:30 by the time I get there as it is, and my pickup time's at 1400. So really, I'm only going to have about 30 to 45 probable minutes to spare. Between when I get there, I got a full-grown mare coming up here on the number 1 lane. Alright, yeah, so you can see it's 30 to 45 minutes to spare to work with as it is, and I only, an extra hour and 13, I think is what it would have been once I went on duty. What I would have needed to get. No, I don't want to hold it, especially after the receiver's already getting their load late because of the shipper detaining me. Okay, so I was originally going to start this video once I'm already down on the 210 freeway or something, to try to keep it from being excessively long. But I do notice that some of you guys who regularly, who I'm friends with, who watch regularly, you guys actually do take the time to watch these videos, I notice, because there are times I do see you guys comment on stuff that you had to have been watching somewhere in the middle of some random part of the video to be able to even know that was talked about. Like Terry. I think Terry, you said something as a comment on one of my videos recently that was probably at least a good 2 hours, even 3 hour long video. And I appreciate hearing you guys. Some of you guys actually are watching or listening to that much of the content that I post. probably could have gone live on this one, I guess, but I do also like having the recorded stuff, because like I said, I can have the multi-views. I can have the interior and both, the 2-camera exterior views for you guys that I cannot get with live. Also, I can't really look at my traffic map reliably. Come on, let me over. You're a piece of shit. Freaking Altima. They were further back. They just came on. They just got on the freeway there, and instead of doing the right thing and getting behind me and passed me over on that side, I had to sit and wait for them. What are they doing here? They were going to build something there, I guess, right next to the aqueduct, or right next to the railroad tracks. This vent, because the weight of the phone always causes the vent to tilt downward, and then it puts the phone at greater risk of falling down also, and I always have to keep adjusting it. Not to mention, if I have, with the air coming out of it, if I want the air actually hitting me, and if it starts tilting down and hitting the wrong area or something, then I can go from being nice and cool to nice and shriveled. Just seeing who's paying attention. Trying to keep it somewhat, I guess, PG-13 too. Got an idiot in the car coming up over here. So, I have not yet put... Freaking moron. These are the kind of dipshits we have out here. Oh, I was going to say, the CRST guy went by me when I first got on, then I passed it back up. Just heavy or something, or maybe he was lollygagging or something back there. Like, how did I get by him and now he's passing me back up? Because he must have been dawdling back there. Alright, so anyway, I haven't posted the video yet of when I finally got this load picked up, but to give you guys a recap, I spent 37.5 hours at the JBS plant in Cactus waiting to get this load picked up. There's another chippy over there right on the north side of the Oak Hill Road exit. Very common spot to see them parked and watching traffic. There's a lot of speeders coming through here, so I'm not surprised. Now CRST just created a problem for this car, and they got this little space in front of me that, see, that's one of those cases where the guy pulling the CRST trailer probably would have been better off staying in the number 3 lane temporarily until that car got by and then move over. Because he just created a potentially hazardous situation for me as well as for the truck that's up in front of him. Mistakes happen. I mean, I'm no stranger to making mistakes myself, so I'm just saying this is how you can learn to be a better driver too, is figure out what even your own mistakes are and try to not make them in the future, or try to reduce the number of times you do make that same mistake. That's what makes you a better, safer driver, more likely to run a lot of miles without any accidents. Okay, well anyway, I got the load picked up finally. It turned out to be about a 35,000 pound load, I think. It's scaled at about 69,000, so not super heavy. But it's not light either. I ended up running across FM 297, Farm Road 297, from Cactus over to Dalhart, and got on US 54 from there. Stopped in Tucumcari, and okay, on my way to Tucumcari, going across 297, I was noticing that the trailer was bouncing. It was had a very bouncy feel to it, like the airbags were deflated. And I thought the airbags were filling up because, you know, okay, when I first picked up the load, the tandems were all the way to the rear like they're supposed to be when you're at that lot. And when I started doing my pre-trip, you know, I didn't slide the tandems until I was already outside the lot, but I'm pre-tripping first before I even move the trailer out of the spot it's already in. Now when the tandems are all the way back, I got the ICC bar in the way. It's hard to get to the rear axle area to inspect that area there. I did see, even without going under the trailer, that the airbags were deflated. And I figured just putting air in the, sending air to the trailer would get them to air up. And while I was at it, you know, sending air to the trailer and then starting my walk around is one of the ways I typically will look for audible air leaks, because that's one of the out-of-service conditions, is if you have an audible air leak. You can have air leaks that are inaudible, that are just nuisance problems, if you will, where they're annoying to deal with, but they're not out of service if they cannot be heard, and if I can still pass my DOT brake check, you know, where I do the applied pressure test with both brakes released and engine shut off. Hold the service brake pedal in, like all the way in for a minute, and it shouldn't lose more than 4 psi. And as long as I pass that, and as long as there's nothing audible back there, it passes. It'll pass the DOT inspection. Now, I start pre-tripping. I put air in here, and then I start walking around checking the trailer out. I don't hear anything going on back there other than air going into the reservoir. That was already deflated, depleted for whatever reason. Could have been a nuisance leak. Who knows? So, anyway, I think nothing of it. And I'm thinking, okay, the airbags will air up while I'm still doing my walk around, or then once I get in my trailer, or once I'm in the truck, and then I can also hear. I can hear while I'm in here and still parked, you know, where the yellow valve is out and the red valve's in, when it's done airing up back there. So here I am assuming that everything's hunky-dory because it's no longer airing up, and now I go to release the tractor brakes so I can pull out of the spot. And yeah, and of course I didn't bother to look at the airbags, I just assumed they were aired up. Find out while I'm driving down the road, this doesn't feel like I have aired up airbags. It feels like they're still deflated. It was bouncing like really bad. It feels like a super tail heavy load. Basically, is how the best way I can describe it for any of you guys who are not truckers yet, or who are inexperienced truckers, or even if you're an experienced trucker who's just never had the experience of driving with airbags on a trailer deflated. It's very bouncy, and it feels like the entire weight of the inside the trailer is on the tandems and nothing on the drive tires. So anyway, I get to Tucumcari, and where I end up scaling my load, and then I went to the fuel island to get enough fuel to get me to Santa Rosa, or actually ended up having to go to Albuquerque. I'll give you more on that story in a minute. Basically, I scaled the load, it scaled fine. Then I go to the fuel island. And why I scaled first is because the load always comes first to me. And I don't want to put myself in a bad position by maxing out my tanks, especially at the price that Tucumcari charges anyway. I don't want to have too much fuel there and end up with an overweight load that I could have otherwise avoided by not putting so much fuel in. And I really didn't want to buy that much fuel in Tucumcari regardless, because I only wanted to get to Santa Rosa which was not that far away, but I didn't have enough fuel to reach. But it ended up turning out it was a good thing I bought 50 gallons of fuel in Tucumcari, even though Santa Rosa is only about 60. No, about 65 miles from the Flying J.
It's about there. No college kid anywhere with it.
Yeah, about 65 miles from the Flying J in Tucumcari to the Akal Travel Center / or Sinclair on the west side of Santa Rosa. I look like the way station is closed right now. Alright, anyway, anyway, I get over to Santa Rosa, and I want to get fuel, but then I find out the door to go inside so I can give them my AFS card was locked. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I don't know what was going on. Maybe they were just on a break or something, or maybe they were closed because of curfew. I don't know, but there were trucks parked in their lot, and you have to pay to go in that lot. You have to either buy fuel or you have to pay them for parking. I wanted to get fuel. I wanted to max out there because it's a better price there. Turned out I couldn't get my fuel though because they were, like I said, they were closed. Can't go home. Alright, anyway. Yeah, I couldn't get fuel there. So I'm glad I ended up getting 50 gallons worth in Tucumcari, which should have been good for a good should be good for at least 300 miles, which was also enough to get me to Albuquerque so I could get fuel at Maverick instead. Now they have a new Maverick station off of Unser Boulevard, exit 154, right across the street from there's a Coca-Cola distributor over there. It's on the same side of Unser Boulevard, but across whatever that street is that separates Coca-Cola from Maverick. There's one there, and there's another one off exit 153, the same one that the Flying J in Albuquerque's off of. That both have the same price that you can go to there. So ended up stopping there for fuel. Had me a little bit of entertainment, I guess you could say there. Some guy on a bicycle, I guess he was a regular there, and he was on something. So I first saw him, I'm getting my fuel, and I see him ride by at first. I'm like, so man, then at the hour that I was there, it was about 2:30 in the morning. Okay, generally speaking, if you ever watch the YouTube channel Active Self-Protection, it's a channel I very highly recommend. Very highly recommend. The guy who runs that channel is he's a second-degree black belt in a Kenpo derivative, and then he's also more recently started to learn Jiu-Jitsu, same art that I do. And he knows a ton about gun safety as well. He gives a lot of classes and stuff, and there's always some annual thing that they go to in the Kansas City area, if I remember right, or Manhattan, Kansas, or something like that, over that way, that he's always going, that he does. Very knowledgeable guy. I love watching his channel. But anyway, I got onto him. Talking about him is one of his safety rules is don't violate the 5 rules of stupid. And one of his 5 rules is don't be in at a public place, like at a gas station particularly, between the hours of 1 and 5 a.m. Because that's when stupid stuff happens. Even if you're not looking for drama, they're more likely to have drama find you if you're in a place like that at that time of day. Well, I kind of needed fuel. I kind of needed to do my job. So, I'm not a small guy, and I do have defense training. So, am I really that worried? No, not really. I'd prefer to not be in that situation, but at the same time, I'm not going to take someone's shit. So anyway, I'm staying well tuned to what he's doing. I make sure I know where he's at all times, what he's up to. No problems there. Then when I when I finish getting my fuel, guy not going to let me over, is he? Yeah, right. Looks like he will. This guy might just be having a hard time climbing the hill. He'll probably get back up to speed here and end up being a problem for me once I'm by him. Watch. Let's take a look. I don't want to move back over right in front of someone who's going to get up to speed, but looks like I'm still pulling away from him. I'm really watching for that kind of stuff before I move back over in front of somebody. Alright, so anyway, I get through getting fuel, and I start going in. I start walking toward the building to go get me a drink refill. And I see that before I even get around the corner, the back of the building, because it turns out the door to go in the store from the truck fuel aisle inside was locked, and you have to go in through the front door. So I started going around the side to go toward the front door, and then I realized he's right there on the other side of the corner. I guess he was getting, I don't know, trying to find recyclable shit or something out of the trash can there or something. And he sees me and just, he minded his own business. He didn't ask me for any handouts. He didn't bother me or anything. Just went about his way, and I went about mine. But of course, even when he's behind me now, I'm still staying very aware of what he's up to. You're not going to come up and sneak up behind me. I will know what you're up to before you get anywhere near me. So, I mean, but it was good. He didn't seem to have any malicious intent. I go inside and I get my drink, and I'm walking from the soda fountain up to the counter, which is right up in front of the store. I see that guy out in the parking lot, like walking like over these weird high steps, almost like he's in a marching band or something, and doing some weird stuff. I'm like, man, what? And even the guy working in there was checking him out, like freaking tripping out on him. And so I started asking him, is that guy like a regular here or something? And he goes, yeah, he's here a lot. Okay, is he normally like that? Like, no, he's not normally like that. I think he's on something. Okay, interesting. I forgot. I want to see my map, so if I need to avoid any unforeseen traffic delays that were not there earlier, I can take a detour route around it. So anyway, yeah, he was tripping out all like that, and I don't know what the hell he was on, but thankfully he didn't try to mess with me at all. Because, probably wouldn't have ended pretty for him if he did. Now, speaking of what I was just talking about, though, where I use the GPS, the Google Maps here this guy knows that lane's in it. The same truck that I moved over earlier is hanging out over there, but I'm only over here because I know that lane's in it. Yeah, he's staying back. Okay, I don't know if it's Cody or somebody else. I was just talking to you on the phone not that long ago, like within the last week, I'd say. There was some discussion about GPS, or have I ever used GPS before or whatever, and I go, honestly, where I use GPS or some kind of navigation map, whatever, more than anywhere is here in Southern Cal. The one place I have the least need for help on getting to a particular area, or probably need the least help getting to a particular area of the state, because this is my home state, and I've lived here my entire life, and I know a very large amount of Southern Cal, and now all the freeways are laid out. But I don't know what the traffic's going to be like on any given day. Like on this route here, my normal route would be 15 south to 210 west to 605 south, to 91 west, 710 south, and then 405 north to the Wilmington Avenue exit. Get all that? So, I already know exactly how I'm going to get there under ideal conditions. But sometimes when I'm on my way down there, I don't get ideal conditions. But quite a bit when I'm down here, for obvious reasons. Actually, I'm seeing a lot of green even on 605 now, so might be in good shape now. I don't have any compelling reason showing on the map to make me want to take a different route. Like, let's say if I wanted to avoid that 605, freaking idiot. Not the truck, the car. That's why you don't pass trucks on the right, you fucking moron. Alright, anyway. If I know there's a traffic delay at the 605 and 5 like there was when I left the house, then I might be inclined to take the, maybe instead of taking 210 to 605, I might decide I want to take the 15 down to 10 to 57, 57 down to 91, and then 91 across from there. But now that I see green on 605 all the way through, and that gives me less reason to want to look for a different route. And yeah, I know all these routes. Yeah, from living here my entire life and using them so much, but I can't tell you which one way or the other is going to be a good route to go, because there's always some kind of traffic delay because of stupid people having accidents every damn day, numerous times a day on any given interstate here or highway. So I like to use the map when I'm here in Southern Cal so I can know what the path of least resistance is going to be. It's also one of the reasons why that's one of the other reasons why I've been mostly avoiding doing live streams, because I like to have that map available sometimes to know what's going on in advance. And I can't so easily do that when the phone is sitting on that other mount and in landscape mode, where I can't really get as good a view, and it's harder for me to make adjustments to the zoom or whatever, with my zoom level. So I have the detail that I want to see. Versus when it's on this mount here, it's in portrait mode, and it's a lot easier for me to get a big everything from top to bottom view of what my entire route looks like. So right now I'm going to zoom in some. Then I don't have to touch it again for an amount of time, whatever. The closer I get, the more often I might have to make adjustments for the zoom, but further out, like right now, like when I left the house, I have it set up where it's just the map only. I see myself at the very bottom of the screen, and I see where my receiver is set at the very top of the screen. Westbound 10 closed at Vineyard, the 14th through the 18th, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Yeah, I do. I will sometimes use GPS, but I almost never have it navigate for me. I usually do my own trip planning, and I might use the navigation part of it only just briefly, only to know about how far I need to go and if it's the same route that I plan on going. Yeah, and all I need is an approximation of how far away I am, so I can have an ETA to work with and know how many miles I got to cover and all that. And then I use my trip meters to figure out how many more miles I still have to go on the route. And I do this at the start of every shift. How far away am I at the start of every shift from my receiver? And of course, the closer I get, the more accurate the actual miles will be. A little bit bright here. I got 56 degree temps here. Normally I'd be wearing shorts. It was a little bit... the only reason I even brought pants today is I just showered right before I left the house. And normally I would have been wearing shorts and a hoodie or something. But it was like 30 I think low to mid 30s when I got home early this morning. I got home about right around 2 o'clock this morning, and I anticipated it being chillier than it actually is when I left the house. So it's one of the rare occasions you'll see me wearing pants, especially in Southern Cal. I can tell at I'm trying to stay at a certain speed on my, and I can tell that even with first stage take, it feels like ever so slightly like I'm accelerating, just a slight bit. Losing a little bit there. That actually got right where I want to be. I'm starting to see some more orange there on the map, but I think it's on the north side. 605 at the 5. Might be some there on the... Might be a little bit of southbound too, but from what I can tell for sure, northbound. I'm not zoomed in closely enough right now to get a really good view of what's going on there. It's only orange though, so it's not something that'll concern me at all. If it's as long as it doesn't get any more red than that. Some of you guys might wonder why I'm not in the right lane right here, and part of that is because that lane's going to end in a second, and I don't want to make an unnecessary lane change. I don't want to have to try to fight my way into traffic that's not willing to let me in. And there's always room in front of me, so it's a lot easier for them to work around me than it is for me to work into them. We'll get over another lane anyway, because even this lane's going to end in a second. Kind of surprised I was able to have that much to talk about between the house and here so far, and I think there was still more. Yeah, still more I can talk about there too. Let's see. I know I ended up getting a steer tire replaced. My right steer tire replaced yesterday at the Loves and Williams. Last night, coming in from Williams to here, and even in the middle of the night, there was a lot of truck traffic going both in and out of California. I was a little surprised. It was like, even at like between 1 and 2 in the morning, between, let's just say, Barstow and Victorville, there was still a bunch of truck traffic. And even going across 40 from Arizona to Barstow, still a bunch of truck traffic. And I hit the state line, I think about 22:30 or so, and I got to Barstow a little bit after 1. There's a lot going on here right now, it seems, at least with the truck activity. There is a decent amount of automotive traffic as well at that hour, surprisingly. It's, a Thursday night. Wouldn't have thought it'd be that busy. So there were some occasional frustrations there. So I like to be in my own open little space here, like right here. I don't have to make adjustments for anybody. I'm in my own my own little world in front of me, for most part. Yeah, we got this truck here in front of me, but I don't have to make any adjustments for him. The more I can stay that way, the better. And so for that reason, I don't really care so much if if people pass me, if other people pass me up, just don't hang out near me. I don't want to be near you. But there were a couple of drivers there last night on here in Cali that I kept having to have back and forth interactions with, and it was getting annoying. One of them was I think it was a Consolidated Transporters or whatever that company's name is. I'm coming over. Don't be. Yeah, he kept playing this back and forth bullshit with me, even like when I was on a hill. Oh, come on. Put him over, but I gotta watch for that car on the on-ramp. Anyway, he was going slower than me and going up a hill, so I figured he was just heavy. And I go to pass him up, and the next thing you know, he's speeding up on me. Then he backs back off and whatever. Like, what the hell are you doing, you idiot? Get the fuck away from my truck. Get your piece of crap away from me. And then I get stuck out there in the left lane and end up blocking other traffic if anybody comes up. And if like I say, when you camp out next to somebody like that, or they camp out next to you, you're just one blown steer tire away from getting caught up in somebody else's mess. And with a brand new steer tire there, that's when it's actually very high. It's more likely for you to have a blowout than any other time until the tire gets really worn, and then it can blow out from you just being stupid and driving on a tire you shouldn't still be driving on. And I had another one, I can't remember, it was a CRST or somebody else. No, I think it was an independent, I think. Someone with a smaller company name, whatever. That I had to make it deal with a few different times. Like, come on, people, just get away from me already. Yeah, there was one guy with a Penske tractor pulling a CRST trailer. He kept passing me up and then stopping on the shoulder for whatever reason, and then I'd pass him back up, and then he'd get back on, and then he'd pass me back up. Like, what are you doing, dude? What is wrong with you? Or what's wrong with your truck? Let's get this zoomed in a little bit more. Yeah, we're green all the way to the 605. Yeah, I have to deal with that Subaru because I have this truck on the on-ramp. I want it out of the way of. 605, from what I can tell, looks clear all the way down. Might be some orange there at the 5, but I really can't tell. I see orange there, I can't, like I said, I don't know if it's on both the north and southbound sides or just northbound. See anything going on anywhere, so I don't know, maybe this imposed shutdown might help me out here. I was kind of expecting more traffic problems. Okay, so now just answering where am I going with this load, and it's going to PCC Logistics, or Pacific Coast Container, in Carson. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, it is, this customer is off the Wilmington Avenue exit of Interstate 405. Okay, basically, like I said, I'll take 605 down to 91 West, then 710 South, and then 405 North. 405 North through there is actually west, though. And then it's not a very long distance west of the 710 when you get off at Wilmington Avenue, maybe a 2 or 3 mile drive, something like that. Then off of Wilmington, go south on Wilmington, get on the other side of the 405 205. The very first street you can turn right on is 223rd. Turn right there, and then the next, the first left you can come to. I forget the name of the street, but that's the street that the customer is on. They'll be on the right side. I've been there multiple times. It's actually a pretty good customer overall. It's a small lot, so it can be a little bit tricky getting into their lot as well as backing into a dock door, depending on your situation. Every time I go there, they always seem to give me door 1, which is right in front of the driveway, and it's probably the easiest door to get into. But I have seen people from, like, say, door 3 through 5. I've seen people have a real bitch of a time getting into those doors, and primarily it's because of containers being parked across the row a little bit further down from where door 5 is at. Let's say where door 7 or so would be. Somewhere in that ballpark is where I typically would see the end of the row of containers start. And it really wreaks havoc on people's setups to get into their spots, and you really have to modify your setup there to get in sometimes to deal with that. My first time there, I was getting ready to leave, and I think I was waiting on more. I just was waiting on my bills or something, and there was a Swift driver. Now, I don't think that is the regular Swift driver. Well, everybody makes fun of Swift. This guy was a very experienced driver. And I could tell from his maneuvering that he knew what he was doing. But even then, he was having a bitch of a time getting into that spot. I can't remember if he was trying to get into door 3 or 4. Somewhere around there. But he basically had to wrap around the truck that was in door 5 and door 4. And he had the containers to deal with that were affecting his ability to set up properly. And so I got out and gave my hand, spotted for him, because it wasn't so much as tractor. I mean, it wasn't always so much as trailer getting into the spot as it was where he could put his tractor to get the trailer to do what he wants with it. So I got out and was spotting for him that, hey, keep going until you're, as close as possible to an obstacle or whatever, then go ahead and go the other way, back up, or, go the opposite direction. It was one of those kind of situations where even if it was me, I would have probably had the same difficulty as him and would have probably appreciated the same kind of spotting help that I gave him. Now, my truck, I do have these Buckeye hood mirrors, and some people make fun of them, and some people even say that they're facing the wrong direction, the mounts for them, but I don't care about that part. I can see everything I need to just fine. What the mirror is designed for me to be able to see, I can see just perfectly. I can see this guy next to me through that mirror right now. I can see the entire front end of my tractor with it as well, so cool. Yeah. I'm constantly checking my mirrors. I'm checking both the hood mirrors and those to make sure I'm really clear. Don't make assumptions. I know that I'm clear, but I still don't assume. Making assumptions that it's clear is how I've actually watched accidents happen right in front of me, or I've actually come close to having an accident myself because I made that dumb assumption myself and found out the hard way that there actually was somebody there that I didn't think was there. So never assume. Always look in the mirrors. And if you're a truck driver especially, don't hesitate to use these hood mirrors if you do have them available. They can do you a lot of good. Oh, there it is. The 605 freeway, I want to say is exit 37 or 35 or something, I forget. Somewhere in the mid-30s. If I recall. And I know the 57 freeway's exit 46. $45 or 46, something like that. Exit 50 here. I got Fruit Street coming up, so yeah, 57 freeway is just about 4 or 5 miles away. And about 15 or so miles away from the 605. To put a different piece of cardboard or something underneath that create better friction to help keep that thing from trying to rotate down on me. Now this receiver, it's more of a pain in the butt getting into their lot than it is, I think, than it is actually trying to dock in. Usually I park, well, usually at least as far as where I usually park when I check in, because when you check in there, you gotta park along the street. And so I'll usually park just on the north side of where their driveway is, and then to walk up there with my bills and check in. And then once they call me and give me a knock door, then you pull your truck and trailer in, and then the guard will let you in. But making the turn from where I usually park into the lot, the tandems end up in a bad spot, and it makes it more of a challenge to get into the lot without hitting the fence or there's a yellow post over there as well, a barrier kind of post that you have to try to stay clear of. So you really got to do a really good J-hook type of turn, or actually even put your entire truck and trailer in the northbound lane of that street to give yourself the easiest time getting your tandems clear of all that. So let's see what, could be a pre-plan, I don't know. That one, I don't know if that's one I already...
Message 2 of 29. Important received today at 12:07 p.m. Pre-plan information may change notes. Ready at shipper on TRL 6675 and is drop and hook on both ends. Order.
Oh, it's going to be a little over the Plainview watch.
754 stops. 00 customer. Walmart Center Point number 69 Elgin, Near Loma Street.
Alright, yeah. So that's a Mirror Loma to Plainview load again. Same one I just did, that swap for the other day. So I'll go ahead and accept that one once I get to my receiver. And it's already ready to go, so good. All I have to do is, when I get through with my delivery, I can probably go up to the, figure out where I want to get my trailer washed out at. See what the traffic's like. If I get back out this way quickly, I might wash out over in Fontana. Though, if the traffic looks like it might be alright, I can also get washed out in Vernon. We have an account over there at, what's the name of that place? It's one of the trucks. There's a couple of truck stops on Bandini Road, and one of them we have an account with. Okay, it's going kind of fast. This white car back there was what made me more reluctant to even think about moving over, but I think that lane ends after the interchange anyway. Or it needs to be made available for traffic coming off the 57 North. So, regardless, I don't really want to use that lane no matter what. Only because I have knowledge of, I have familiarity with how the lanes are here. Now that basically gives me an opportunity to get back out to the Inland Empire area. Get my trailer washed out somewhere. I don't know where yet. Say if it might be in my best interest to hurry up and get to Fontana, then wash out over there at Little Sister's Truck Wash or something. Or maybe even the truck. I think there's a truck tub over in Harupa Valley too. There's a truck wash over there. I don't remember if it's truck tub or what, and I don't know if they have a dedicated washout lane. So I'm a little more reluctant to use that, not knowing what the situation is there, and knowing that I want to be in a little bit more of a hurry to get over to the Inland Empire area, get washed out, get my load picked up, and start getting it up the hill back to my house for the end of my shift. So I knew that car was going to do that. That's why I did that. And I'm still kind of expecting Northern Refrigerated to come around. So, yeah, and he did. Well, that's brilliant. That was pretty stupid. I don't have a problem with moving back over there if this guy will let me. But right now he's kind of camping out right next to my trailer, so I can't get over there. Back it off a little bit so I can a little more quickly have the space in front of me that I want. This is too close. I thought Gardner was going to run a little bit faster than me from what I was seeing, but I'm not seeing convincing enough evidence that he's really going to, though. Probably just Jake braking for this hill and losing some of his speed that he doesn't really care. That helps me out a lot now that that four-wheeler there moved, got off the road. I am starting to see a few little orange and reddish spots, so it is going to be a reason for me to perhaps want to hurry up and get out of the area and back into the Inland Empire area as quickly as I can. Now, if those of you guys not familiar with California, what do I mean by the Inland Empire area? Okay, that means basically, for most part, it means Riverside and San Bernardino County. Yeah, okay, Citrus Avenue exit here, exit 41. That should be about 4 to 6 or so miles. Listen, I can't remember what exit number it is for 605. I know it's in the mid-30s range though. Black Stallion or Black Horse, whatever that carrier's name is. I want to say that's that same company that does a lot of dedicated account stuff for Aldi over in Aurora, Illinois. That Black Horse, that's what it is. Yeah, see, Aldi. It's got an Aldi trailer right there. Starting to see a longer line of orange up there by the 5 freeway now, and seeing more telltale signs of typical Friday afternoon heavy traffic problems in some key spots. Alright, 605 freeway, 2.5 miles out. Alright, now, I don't know if my dad is watching this, or if he's going to at all, but he bought me this shirt as a gift. Yeah, to kind of honor my Air Force veteran status. I thought it was a pretty good looking shirt. Honestly, I don't think it's a bad looking shirt either. I'm usually not that heavy on wearing veteran related stuff. But, I mean, at least when I was still serving, there was, what's going on here? Yeah, and I was still serving. It was kind of a faux pas to wear any of your, like, your Air Force, you know, any kind of Air Force identifiable stuff as a civilian. I mean, in civilian clothes. Obviously, if I was in uniform, that was a different story, but, yeah, if I were just, you know, out and about on my own time, it's kind of a faux pas to be wearing any kind of civilian, like Air Force clothing, as while in civilian status, or anything that identifies you as Air Force. So I was kind of, I don't know, I had that habit of generally trying to avoid dressing like that. I don't know, I just now that I'm retired and I don't wear the uniform anymore, I guess it's a little bit different, but even then, sometimes it's, I don't know, for one, it still sometimes feels a little bit awkward to me. Not to say I'm not proud of my service. I am very proud of the service that I did. And I do, I will say that Air Force is the best branch to be at. But I'm also not one of those, like, I'm not, I just, putting this in a different perspective, looking at the homosexual lifestyle, you might call someone who's just like, somebody who's like really like as open can get about their lifestyle. You would call them flamboyant, probably, or very stereotypical or something. When there's a lot more to the LGBT community than just the flamboyant types. But you get my drift there. I mean, I'm not saying they need to be discriminatory in any way here. I do have a number of friends who are gay or lesbian. I don't really care. Just saying, society in general has that view that, you know, the type of gay behavior, the flamboyant stuff, like it's in your face and, you know, that kind of stuff, it should be off-putting to people. Versus somebody who's more conservative, or you could say in the closet, like, you know, or, you know, a lot of people, I don't care if you're straight or gay or whatever, or you're bi, okay, whatever, but keep that to yourself kind of thing is what a lot of people view it as. You know, I don't need to know that, and just be a normal person. But I don't know, I used to be that way myself. Yeah, being really homophobic, I guess, and I think it had something to do with some experiences I had in my younger years. Somebody I worked with at one point in time, and then, you know, a couple other people in my past who kind of made the whole thing that just highly offensive. Yeah, not to mention I grew up in a devout Baptist family, or I wouldn't say like the most devout possible family in the world, but we're, you know, that's the environment I grew up in. You know, and then of course, you know, if you're a Bible reader, it's you know, homosexuality is considered an abomination. I've since matured to the point where I don't need to let stuff like that frighten me or bother me, whatever. So I have gay friends, and I don't even joke around with them about stuff and whatever. I'm straight, he's gay, or whatever, and so anyway, I don't get too much in the weeds on that. But ultimately, it's, you know, it's social status quo there, where, you know, there's kind of an expectation for you to be kind of conservative, or not so out in the open about what your lifestyle is. And in my situation here, I don't want to necessarily be too flamboyant, if you will, about my Air Force service. So that's all I was getting at there, why I even brought up the LGBT thing. Yeah, I'm going to have some kind of, like, we'll have some delay over by the 5 freeway. Not quite to the 10 yet. We got 10 first, and then 61, Highway 60. And then further down from 60, we'll eventually get to the 5 freeway. And after the 5, we got the 105. 105 being the one that goes across the LAX. And then after the 105 is the 91 freeway. So that's kind of the sequence of how the interchanges work here on 605. 10 freeways, 1.25 mile away. I do want to be alert to what this guy's doing. He might not necessarily want to be in that lane with the interchange coming up. Come on, Bonds. What are you doing? You're holding up. Bonds single-handedly has this lane down to 48 miles an hour. Why are we doing 48? I think Bonds should either back off and move behind that other truck or get by him. over. I don't know why Bonza's dawdling like that. Some for you guys who are newer to trucking, reminder, you stay on the high side of curves, not the low side. And I'm also going to be extra cautious of where my mirror is in relation to the mirror of other trucks when I'm passing them. I-60 freeway, 2.25 miles. Car right here next to me. I was a little bit reluctant to come over here because I wasn't sure if they were going to want to try to come into my lane, but that's what happens when you're over there too far to the right, unless their exit's coming up. Starting to bog down a little bit more here on the 605. 77 or whatever over there by Whittier. I might start getting some slowdown over there in the Whittier area now. My speed's not going to get me anywhere because this white Volvo is blocking me anyway. I'm getting railroaded. There's one guy out of my way now. I'm just going to deal with this straight van. Yes. Yes. Thank you. I'll have to leave some space here, I think, for that. Yeah, I think these guys might have to merge in with me. Just in case they need to or want to, I'll leave that. And it looks like we'll be all right. Rose Hills Road. I got that same exit in here in Whittier that I went to for a pickup not that long ago. I was gonna say that belly dump really shouldn't even be in that lane. So these guys are like this belly dump that's past me now. That's another one who's potentially gonna get ticketed if CHP sees that. It does look like we're gonna have some bottleneck coming up really soon here. Possibly. I can't tell too well if it's both sides or just or the other side. Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of slowdown on both sides. Okay, I do see a slight bottleneck now on the 91. I could do is just get on the 105 westbound and then take that over to 710. Because the westbound side of 105 looks okay. And 710 looks clear all the way down. That's where, yeah, like I said, having a map up and being able to make on-the-fly adjustments based on changing conditions. I change too quickly. I can make an on-the-fly adjustment of what road I want to take, or what highway I want to take to get there. It's 105 and 91 both parallel each other through that area between the 605 and 710. They're almost straight literal parallels, so it hardly makes any difference which one of the two routes I go. But I see a little bits of orange on the westbound 91 in that section there, but I don't see any, it's just nothing but green going across the westbound side of 105. That's going to be the path of least resistance and the way that I'm going to opt for going. Alright, now we got some slowdown here. Looks like by Whittier. Just north of Whittier Boulevard. This one here doesn't look like it's that long of a slowdown, but then looks like it picks back up, but only a very short distance before it slows back down again until we get past the 5 freeway. Pico Rivera, next 4 exits. He realized he wasn't going to get anywhere anyway, so he decided to slow down and let me by. So that deserves a thank you flash of the 4 ways for that. Now, most of this just looks like interchange traffic. Everybody in the right lane because they're trying to either get off the freeway or they're dealing with people trying to get on the freeway. This could all just be people trying to set up to be to get onto the 5. Got a little bit further to go before we get to the 5. It's not that far away, but it's not so close that I would think people would need to really be in the right lane this urgently. Freeway 2 1/4 miles. this container driver moving over. Probably moved over because he knows that he's over there soon anyway. But then again, you never know. Might not have a really good reason to be over there. And there are a lot of people who have bad things to say about container truck drivers, and a lot of the things I see, I think they have good arguments. I'm not saying it's entirely accurate, but I see enough from container truck drivers to see why people would say the things they do about those particular drivers. If I had more space, I would have let that guy in. That's part of the concern with following too closely, because someone might try to dart out anyway. Santa Fe Springs city limit. Max. Five minutes to the 105 freeway. You gotta watch for that kind of stuff. This guy was on my side of his lane, and these are not full 12-foot wide lanes either. So if I'd stayed right in the middle of my lane, there would have been a better chance that his mirror would have hit mine. But constantly on alert, make sure that I'm not going to have mirror-to-mirror contact with anybody. Should start clearing up once we get past the 5. You know, and I think this doesn't help things. Having on-ramp traffic like that right before the interchange like that, it just makes it more challenging and difficult, whatever, for traffic to flow easily from one freeway to the next. Because now they're not only trying to move right to get on the 5, they also got to deal with the on-ramp traffic there as well. That has a lot to do with why we have a bottleneck here, I think. bright now, so. Alright, and number 4 normal lane merges into the 3 right here. That should clear up once we're by the 5. It should be mostly smooth sailing the rest of the way there. I hope so, because I got 3:34 left on my clock now, and I want to be sure that that's actually going to be enough to get me home, get me to my reload and get home. And the more time I spend farting around with traffic delays here, though, I'm going to have delays on the way back, more than likely, so. And I have had times where it takes me 3 hours to get home. I still gotta wash out and get my go get my load picked up. But I mean, once I have the load picked up, I can go ahead and burn whatever clock I can from there. And if it comes down to it, alright, go ahead and stop and then switch to personal convey, because then from there it actually will be going to the nearest safe and reasonable place to stop. So when I'm nearby my house, then my house is what's reasonable. Nowhere else is reasonable if I'm going to end my shift within commute distance of my house. Yeah, I don't want to move over with that other truck over there, but yeah. This container guy did not help me out here with trying to not slow down in front of this truck that was just coming off of the 5. Go ahead and slide over that way. Yeah. Very shortly after the 5, we got the 105 here. 91's starting to look a little bit better now, but I'm already committed to coming this way, so we'll go ahead and do 105. It's 65-degree weather here. Firestone Boulevard. Freaking fan runs, and and it always screws up my timing on my shifts because it makes my RPM drop too fast. Be a very long trip on the 105 before we hit 710. Perhaps a few miles. Over here, see if I can get moved over for him. Come on. Move me over. I'm just trying to get out of the way of the container truck. Looking over here to make sure I know if this guy has a turn signal on to come back this way. This guy next to me. 710 freeway, 1 3/4 mile. No wonder that container truck moved over there. Yeah, after I got around that container truck and moved into the lane I just came out of, I'm like, why did he do that? Either he was going to build speed up, or yeah, he actually, because he's more familiar with this road than I am. I'm familiar with this road, I just don't know the lanes part as well. This slowdown's supposed to be on the other side, not here. Freeway, 3/4 mile. He's south on 710 from here. We have a little bit of delay trying to get on the 405. Maybe something at the 91 as well. It's hard to tell. See, these conditions change so fast sometimes. Especially when people have accidents. Side I'm going to merge into the 710 app on. It'd probably be this on the right side like this, and it'll probably need to be over here anyway. You see the container trucks in front of me are doing the same thing. Common trucker practice there. Boulevard. And I'll just be taking this down to the 405, which is, I can't remember, I think it's exit 4 or something like that. One of you guys is going to come out. Come on, are you freaking kidding me? freaking gas pedal, you dumbass. Didn't even signal until almost the very end that he wanted over. That's part of the problem here. Signal earlier and then get your damn throttle, your speed up. Sit there and drive slower than everybody in the lane you want into and then expect them to let you over. About to pass by the 91 freeway here. See, my lane is ending. See that truck back there in my convex mirror, just can't tell exactly how far away he is or what speed he is. I just know that he's there. So I had to make an adjustment so I could see him on my flat mirror to get a better view of the distance and speed. Alright, 405 freeway, 2 3/4 miles out. Got 3:22 left on my drive clock. I'd imagine I'll probably be about 3:10 or so left to work with by the time I get to the receiver. Go to 405. I'm gonna get another knucklehead truck driver up here, slowing everybody down needlessly. Retainer driver in front of him's not helping that situation. These container truck guys are probably going to stay on the 710, I would think. A lot of them will go down to like PCH or whatever, work their way down to basically all the way to where they'll go across the Vincent Thomas Bridge or something over to Terminal Island. Alright, 405 north. 1 mile away. It's a bad spot here because I want to watch my tandems on one direction, but then I got to watch for traffic on the other side at the same time. Alright, Carson city limit, 97,000 people. And I think I see the Wilmington sign up ahead 1 mile away. Yeah, good idea. Don't move over yet because you know that you're going to box me out right when my lane's ending otherwise. Locomotive yard. Now, how many accidents there are, collisions there are in Southern Cal? I bet that Larry Parker makes a ton. Because I've seen his commercials for years and years. Even when I was a little kid, I used to see his commercials. Larry H. Parker got me, damn it, 2.1 million. Let's leave it there. I don't need it anymore. I only had it up for the traffic issues anyway. But it's one of the downfalls of having a magnetic mount. Go ahead and hang it back up. I can't do it without. I didn't want it to accidentally shut down my dash cam though. Why you don't go in the intersection just because the light's green. Make sure it's safe to enter first. You gotta be careful with that because that pallet. And I got this bicyclist to deal with too, and I'm gonna be making a right turn right here right after I get around get on the other side of the freeway. Light up ahead, I believe, is the one, if I remember right. Yeah, to the left of that light right there, and then right down the street on the right side for the customer. Lucerne Street. If I'm remember right, there's a set of railroad tracks or whatever it is over there. This truck's coming up too fast. Should have an opening here after this truck goes by. Oh, come on. Look how it says no truck parking. Right, well, I gotta check in on my customer. I usually tend to park right about where this truck with its four ways on is at. It's probably where I'll park now if this. Yeah, because they're. Come on, dude. I need to check in. Dude, get out of the freaking way. Yeah. Got my tandems out a little bit too far. Parking job I've ever done, but it'll work. There's a driveway right there, but there's no way to use it because there are drop trailers parked in front of it on the other side anyway. So let's get off duty.
You have 3 hours and 11 minutes of remaining drive time.
Yeah, get this arrival call sent, get checked in. Also accept the pre-plan, and I'll have some more. I got more data, more SD cards to work with now too, so I can also have footage for that. Arrived at consignee 12/11, 1306. Okay, that's 66-degree temps. Stay tuned. Probably end up getting told to wait for them to call and then get a doctor or whatever time and wait. We'll have some more footage for you soon. Alright, we're good to go here. Just, he said dock in the door 15.
3 hours and 11 minutes of remaining drive time.
Let's look at my clocks first. Just in case I might need the extra minutes, I'm gonna personal use it into there. It's cheating, but I don't want my 14 running down where it runs down shorter than what I have to work with. Gonna run over the curb. Yep, sure did. Knew it. Come way out here to make sure my tandems will clear that fence. I'm gonna have an easy time getting into the door. I do see a container over there, but there's plenty of room to work with it. And if I remember, I got to slide tandems back as well. So once I get it straightened out, I'm ready to set up. I'll slide the tandems back. I go ahead and dock in with them all the way back. Setup's not that much different for tandems all the way back versus all the way forward. I had to verify the seal. We're easily clear there. There's 15 right there. Slide tandems, get the door open. radar is completely oblivious to the fact I'm even here. Okay, I'm going to normally go 2 spots past. So when I get to the end of door 17 is normally when I'm going to start my setup. But this container over here, it's going to be a tighter setup, so I'm going to go an extra lane past. So I'll wait till I get to the end of 18, which is where this container in front of me is. And then I'll start. But then my tandem's already out there, so no reason to start further over. Just kind of cross like this. Just go straight. Use up all the space I can. Finish my setup straight with the lane. Just let it develop on its own. Not even steering, as you see. Might be a little bit late, but not far off. I'm intentionally trying to go a little bit overshoot because I know I got space there to work with. I'm intentionally trying to get my tandems lined up with the pad. That way when I correct, so I don't want to correct too far because the more I correct, the more my tandems end up going off course from where I want them to be. I'll have to correct. My tractor is still too far off to the right, so myself all this space I can and come back over. That way it gives me more room. I still want to go a little bit. Tractor just a little bit more over this way. Tandems are already, the trailer's in a good spot already. Okay, we'll send and bump the dock. Accept the other load, and we'll put an end to this video. I'll have some more footage for you for how the end of this this delivery goes. Watch my next one, which will be covering from here to Metaloma to pick up that Walmart load. So 5852, I think it was 5915. Let's get that pre-plan accepted, 8754. Oh, I didn't see when it's due for pickup, but sure, there's plenty of time. Yeah, between any time today and tomorrow morning at 5:30. It's due on my birthday. Alright, it's kind of an open dock area, so I'm going to go ahead and kill the reefer unit as well. Don't need to leave it running. let's say it's gonna be a wrap for this video. Like I said, we'll have some more footage for you with the next one, which hopefully be not far behind this one. Which, like I say, is just going from here to Metaloma to pick up my reload, and then probably take that back to my house and hopefully have time to work with. 3:11 on my clock
You
right
have
now.
3 hours and 11 minutes of remaining drive time.
I got 5:19 on my 14, so if all goes well, I can spend at least 2 hours here and keep my 14 from running down on me, and then I can use that. I can have that slack to work with when I get over there to get my washout done and get my load picked up. You know, the yard move time over there. I'm hoping that's where I'll end up burning it, and then hopefully it'll leave me enough time left on my clock to finish getting back up to the house. May have to PC back up there though, we'll see. Alright, well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks.